Jesse and Gerald show up at a detached lake house in Fairhope, Alabama, for quite a while away. While Gerald takes Viagra, Jesse takes care of a homeless canine outside. However, while returning, the house sees the entryway is left unlatched. Jesse changes into another night dress, putting the label on a rack over the bed, and practices hot stances. Gerald requires a subsequent Viagra and leaves his glass of water on a similar rack. He controls Jesse with one cuff on every wrist locked to the bedposts. She appears to be a piece shocked by this, yet comes. He starts to sanction a more bizarre assault dream, advising her to shout for help, realizing nobody will hear. She pitifully cooperates, yet before long becomes awkward, advising him to stop and uncuff her. He answers, "Consider the possibility that I won't." After a warmed contention where he blames her for not in any event, attempting to revive their relationship, Gerald passes on from a cardiovascular failure, falling onto the floor, leaving Jesse in cuffs. The canine enters and Jesse attempts to frighten it off, however it nibbles a lump out of Gerald's arm and eats it. Gerald stands up and starts talking, however Jesse sees his body stays on the floor. He insults Jesse about the bits of insight of their stressed marriage and his erectile dysfunctions. He then illuminates her that she has squandered hours previously sitting idle, and she is starting to experience the ill effects of hydration and weariness. Jesse marvelously hauls a hand out of a sleeve and breaks free. She boasts to Gerald, however at that point pivots and tells herself, the one actually caught, that it is not difficult to escape. Gerald and the confident Jesse educate things concerning herself and Gerald that she never dared to recognize. They trigger her to recollect the glass of water over the bed, which she can reach yet can't carry the whole way to her mouth. The mental trips help her to remember the label she put on the rack, which she moves into a straw to arrive at the water. Jesse nods off, awakens in obscurity, and sees a tall, twisted, clouded figure who uncovers a sack of different bones and knickknacks. She shuts her eyes saying, "You're not kidding." However, Gerald seems to say that the figure is passing, standing by to take her. Gerald starts to refer to Jesse as Mouse, which disrupts her. This triggers a memory of her dad, Tom, who tenderly alluded to her as Mouse. She is 12 years of age, traveling at a lake house with her loved ones. As Jesse and her dad sit alone outside to watch a sun-oriented obscure, he proposes she sit on his lap, as she did when she was more youthful. When on his lap, he misbehaves. The bound Jesse rises to extraordinary agony because of her flow being cut off and squeezing. Gerald and the sure Jesse have some misgivings about her cases that she managed the strain of staying discreet, and her cases that it didn't have anything to do with her marriage, despite the fact that she wedded a man very much like her dad. Gerald prods Jesse about the deformed man she saw, who he calls the man made of twilight, and brings up what he thinks is a horrendous impression on the floor. After the overshadowing, her dad tells her he was embarrassed about what he did, and maneuvers her toward concurring never to tell anybody. Jesse cut her hand that evening, when she pressed a glass too hard when her mom got some information about the overshadowing. The grown-up Jesse crushes the water glass and slits her wrist in a manner that empowers her to strip back the skin, permitting her ridiculous hand to fall through the sleeve. She hauls the bed to the key, opening her other hand. She hydrates and swathes herself, however at that point drops on the floor from blood misfortune and weakness. At the point when she wakes, the man made of evening glow is toward the finish of the corridor, and she gives him her wedding band for his knick-knack sack. She makes to her vehicle and drives away, however sees the man again in the secondary lounge. The vehicle collides with a tree, however individuals from a close-by house emerge. A half-year after the fact, Jessie is composing a letter to her 12-year-old self, attempting to compose with her hand that required skin joints. Voiceovers and scenes depict how she had claimed to have amnesia over the entire trial of being caught, keeping away from agonizing inquiries. She utilized a portion of Gerald's extra security to begin an establishment for survivors of sexual maltreatment. However, every night the man made of evening glow actually shows up before her as she nods off. Her wedding band was never tracked down in the house, and she gained from the news that a man who has acromegaly, causing disfiguration of his head, is a chronic executioner who uncovered graves, taking bones and gems, and once in a while eating the essences of male bodies. This makes sense of why he didn't hurt Jessie in the house and furthermore why Gerald's face was distorted. Jessie shows up at court as the Twilight Man is being condemned, and requires his consideration. Seeing additionally Gerald's and Tom's face where his face is, she says you're such a ton more modest than I recall, and strolls victoriously out into the road with the daylight glimmering down on her. Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notification. Leave a like to help the channel.